Hello, it's me Orange Sheep and welcome back to my new video. Today's episode we have a battles of vampires, Flandre and Dio. Flandre Scarlet, is the younger sister of Emilia Scarlet and a vampire who has lived at the Scarlet Devil Mansion for over 495 years. Powers and stats tier, high 3A, possibly low 2. Scene name, Flandre Scarlet. Origin, touhou. Project gender, female. Age, over 495 years old. Classification, vampire. Powers and abilities, superhuman physical characteristics, magic, flight, danmaku, can destroy virtually anything by crushing its eye, duplication, can transform into flocks of bats or a cloud of mist, non-physical interaction, can harm phantoms and evil spirits with her regular attacks, resistance to mind manipulation. Yukai can resist the effects of the true moon, which can drive humans insane and kill them if they look at it. Immortality, types 1 and 3, regeneration, low. Godly, can regenerate solely from her incorporeal mind. High. Mid against spiritual attacks, can regenerate from just her head. Attack potency, high. Universe level, possibly universe level plus. Stated in her EOSD profile that her power exceeds that of her sister and by extension Patchlai. Her ability also ignores conventional durability. Speed, massively FTL+, should be at least as fast as Emilia and Patchlai. Lifting strength, at least class 25, stronger than Emilia. Vampires are said to be able to uproot 1,000-year-old trees. Striking strength, high. Universal, possibly universal plus. Durability, high. Universe level, possibly universe level plus. Stamina, high. Range, at least tens of meters with danmaku. Her firing range should be comparable to Sakuya's, who can throw knives at least 36 meters, at least hundreds of kilometers with her ability to destroy. Using her ability, she destroyed a meteor in the atmosphere. Standard equipment, a twisted clock needle type thing, sometimes thought to be levitating. Intelligence, Flandre is sheltered, naive and destructive. Weaknesses, Flandre is burnt when exposed to sunlight or roasted soybeans, and cannot cross flowing water, nor approach a broken holly branch or the head of a sardine. She is also vulnerable to spiritual attacks. Notable attacks/techniques, destruction of anything and everything. Flandre can supposedly destroy anything she wants. By moving the eye of the object, the place where the tension is highest, into her hand and pouring her power into it, she unconditionally destroys it. In other words, she crushes the eye and destroys the object. With this power, she easily destroyed a meteor without even touching it. According to Flandre, everything has an eye, and she holds all the eyes in her hands. Cloning herself, as seen in one of her spell cards, Flandre can clone herself, producing up to at least 3 clones that help her in battle. Grimoire of Marissa states that the clones attack as they like, which could mean they're able to think independently to some grade. It's also categorized as a slave type, meaning that, though they can act on their own, they are likely still under the original Flandre. Dio Brando is the main antagonist in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1, Phantom Blood and Part 3, Stardust Crusaders. After the death of his abusive and alcoholic father, Dio was sent to live with the Joestar family to repay a debt owed to his father by George Joestar. Dio quickly asserts himself as the superior of his new adoptive brother, Jonathan, beginning an intense rivalry. This ultimately leads to Dio casting aside his humanity in pursuit of power and immortality using the stone mask, becoming a vampire and seeking world domination as opposed to merely earthly riches. Dio's conflicts with his brother conclude with their apparent mutual defeat at sea. It is in 1983 that Dio finally resurfaces, revealing that he had escaped and hid within a casket, bound and trapped somewhere within the ocean. Now in possession of Jonathan's body after the destruction of his own, he uses the stand arrow to grant himself a stand, furthering his power and control. However, the effects of the arrow seemed to reverberate across the Joestar blood flowing in Jonathan's veins, granting stands to his grandson, Joseph, his gentle daughter Holly, and her son, Jotaro Kujo. As Holly is too peaceful for a stand, She is left sickened by its presence, and seeking to save her before it ultimately claims her life. Joseph, JoJo, and the rest of the Stardust Crusaders set a course to Egypt to kill Dio once and for all. Powers and stats tier: 8C, likely 8C, at least 8C with the world, high 8C, far higher with the world name, Dio Brando, Dio, Lord Dio origin, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure age, 2021, years old, 122-123 years old gender, male classification, former human, vampire, stand user powers and abilities, superhuman physical characteristics, enhanced senses, flight, absorption, genius intelligence, immortality, types 1, 2, 3 and 6, survived as just a severed head after being left incapable of healing properly thanks to Hammond, and was able to steal Jonathan's body in this state. Self-sustenance, type 1, would survive at the bottom of the ocean locked in a coffin for approximately 100 years. Regeneration, high-mid, his regenerative capabilities should be comparable to that of other vampires such as Stray Izo, who regenerated from being blown to pieces by grenades. By himself he was regenerating faster than fire was burning his body and easily healed after being vertically bisected by Jonathan. Body control, minor elasticity, can extend his veins. Necromancy, capable of resurrecting the dead, even from presumably just skeletons. Biological manipulation, he can fuse the bodies of others to create monstrous chimeras and transform living beings into zombies by inserting his vampiric essence into their systems. Heat manipulation and ice manipulation, by vaporizing the moisture in his own body, he can drain the heat from others on contact, freezing them and inhibiting the flow of Hammond through his own body. Mind manipulation, he hypnotized Boko and Jack the Ripper with eye contact. Water manipulation, can fire highly pressurized jets of liquid from his eyes. All previous abilities, extrasensory perception, capable of seeing ghosts and souls among some other supernatural forces that are normally otherwise invisible. Acrobatics, can make big jumps with flips and mobilize in the air. Regeneration, mid, due to Jonathan's body rejecting him his regeneration has weakened, still capable of regenerating from a hole in his head. Telepathy, spoke to Enrico Pucci despite not physically being present. Mind manipulation, can create flesh buds capable of implanting themselves inside a person's brain, forcing them to obey his commands. Fear-inducing aura, besides the usual stand aura, Dio can emit an aura that causes those around him to get chills, become on edge and in some cases, stricken with a nauseating and crippling fear. Summoning, of his stands, likely non-physical interaction, could interact with stands on multiple occasions. Hermit, purple number 2 has elasticity, clairvoyance, technology manipulation, mind reading, selective intangibility, incorporeality. Stands are the incorporeal manifestations of one's vital energy, and can only be harmed by other stands. Non-physical interaction, stands can interact with ghosts and other stands. And invisibility, stands can only be seen by other stands and stand users. All previous abilities. Regeneration, high-mid, his regeneration has improved a considerable degree in terms of speed and potency. Dio also claims that after drinking Joestar blood this is the strongest he's been. Superhuman physical characteristics, enhanced senses, has the same precision capabilities as Star Platinum. After-image creation, capable of leaving numerous after-images of its attacks, such as punches and kicks. Time stop, can stop time for up to 5 seconds, allows Dio to stop time as well. Size manipulation, selective intangibility, incorporeality, stands are the incorporeal manifestations of one's vital energy, and can only be harmed by other stands. Non-physical interaction, stands can interact with ghosts and other stands. Invisibility, stands can only be seen by other stands and stand users. Flight, within its effective range, aura pain resistance, has suffered through extensive injuries and damage that would otherwise cause tremendous pain with little, if any issue. Limited resistance to time stop, can see and think within stop time, as well as move at the cost of his own personal 5-second limit. Attack potency, building level plus, stated to be one of the most powerful beings in the verse. Whether this applies to his Part 1 self or later on is unknown though. Much stronger than Tarkus and Jack the Ripper. Stated to be 5 times stronger than pre-Deep Pass Overdrive Jonathan and Will Anthonio Zeppeli. Furthered his power by drinking the blood of numerous innocents throughout the part, to the point where even while casual, he was shown to be at least several times stronger than when he first turned higher with Space Ripper Stingy Eyes, capable of effortlessly defeating Jonathan Joestar, can ignore conventional durability with vaporization freezing. Likely building level plus, should be near to his peak during Part 1. Consistently deflected Emerald Splash, even with just one finger, at least building level plus with the world's physicals. Capabilities far exceed Star Platinum's initial capabilities and completely matched it, with no other stand managing to replicate such a feat throughout the entire series. Dio claimed it was the most powerful stand, which would include the likes of Whitesnake and the rest of his allies. Large building level, upscaled from his previous tier. Much stronger than before due to Joseph Joestar's blood, claiming it was the most powerful that body has ever been. Overpowered Star Platinum, in conjunction with the world, far higher with the world. The more familiar Dio becomes with Jonathan's body, it's likely the world's fighting capabilities increase as well. Demonstrably stronger than he was initially against an enraged Star Platinum, even breaking through his guard at maximum output. With Dio, they overpowered Star Platinum, speed, at least hypersonic plus, comparable to Jonathan, who reacted to his Space Ripper Stingy Eyes, which appears to function similar to water jets, which can easily move at speeds of Mach 3, at least high hypersonic plus with massively FTL reactions, easily deflected Hierophant Green's Emerald Splash. Reacted to Star Platinum on multiple occasions. Should be comparable to Joseph, who fought against Cars in his youth, massively FTL with the world. The world is faster than Silver Chariot and can keep up with Star Platinum, at least high hypersonic plus with massively FTL reactions, massively FTL with the world lifting strength, at least Class K, possibly Class M, superior to Tarkus, at least Class K, likely Class M, much stronger than he was before. Claimed to be the strongest he's ever been. At least Class K, possibly Class M with the world, comparable to Star Platinum, striking strength, building Class Plus, likely building Class Plus, at least building Class Plus with the world, at least large building class, far higher with the world durability, building level plus, should be able to withstand the power of his own attacks. Far more durable compared to Tarkus, could tank blows from Jonathan Joestar, likely building level plus, should be near to his peak during Part 1. Took only superfluous damage from Emerald Splash. At least building level plus with the world, capable of withstanding the force of his own blows explicitly. Matched Star Platinum's attacks and took hits from him. Just like Star Platinum, the world should outclass nearly any other stand. In durability, large building level, his body is far stronger, could tank multiple blows from an enraged Star Platinum, something he couldn't do previously. Far higher, much like Dio, the world's capabilities increased. Could now briefly match an enraged Star Platinum, something it couldn't do prior. Stamina, very high, Dio can keep on fighting even when badly injured. Very high, but lower than before, as he has gone nearly a century without proper nourishment and the body of Jonathan actively resists him. Very high, he claims that after drinking Joestar blood, this is the strongest he has felt. Range, standard melee range, much further with Space Ripper Stingy Eyes, standard melee range, several meters with the world. Its maximum range is 10 meters, though it weakens the further it strays from Dio, much further with Space Ripper Stingy Eyes and Throwing Knives, universal with time-stop standard equipment, none notable, the world and a number of knives. Intelligence, genius. Though he may be arrogant and full of himself, Dio is a cunning, pragmatic opponent who is willing to do anything necessary to succeed in a fight, no matter how underhanded he has to be. He experiments with his powers, not just his vampiric ones but the limits of his stand, pushing himself further and further in search of strength, which he uses to brutal effect in fights. With the world, Dio does not pull any punches, moving to finish fights as quickly as possible by stopping time and unleashing a lethal strike, though he can be goaded into actually fighting against an opponent. When fighting against Jotaro, Dio utilized everything at his disposal to defeat him, throwing knives at him from a safe distance to test the limits of his ability to move and stop time before cautiously making sure he was dead. Even then, Dio's next move was to decapitate him anyway, just to be safe. Weaknesses: Dio is very overconfident, and as a vampire, he will be disintegrated by sunlight and is vulnerable to light-based attacks, of the ultraviolet variety or those mimicking the sun or sunlight, which circumvent his regeneration, same as before. Because Jonathan's body is rejecting him, his strength has diminished and he cannot use his vampiric powers to the same extent. Any damage dealt to the world will be reflected onto Dio, and the stand weakens the further it moves from him to a limit of 10 meters away. Someone else with the ability to stop time may be able to think and move during the world's stop time. Due to his new peak of power, Dio has become even more arrogant and psychotic in general temporarily. Notable attacks/techniques: Vampiric physiology. Through the stone mask, Dio transformed himself into a vampire, a strange process of acupuncture tapping into his brain and awakening his body's full potential. As a vampire, he has superhuman strength, vastly heightened senses, and the ability to control his body in a number of ways. With Jonathan's body, Dio does not have access to his full range of vampiric capabilities, as his brother's body is rejecting him. It is only by claiming the blood of another Joestar that he takes complete control once more, becoming stronger than he's ever been. Flesh buds. Dio can spawn these buds from his cells and implant them into the bodies of others to control them. They do so by connecting to his brain, and if removed, the flesh bud will violently lash out with tentacles, seeking to kill its host and whoever is trying to remove it. This makes it impossible for even the greatest surgeons in the world to do so, but, due to its incredible precision, Star Platinum was able to safely extract K-coin and pull nerfs. Fusion. Dio's control over biology allows him to fuse the bodies of others to make grotesque chimeric creatures, and he can also use this ability to integrate his own flesh into those of others, allowing him to take control of Jonathan's body after his death. Necromancy. A vampire can utilize their abilities to transform the living and the dead into monstrous zombies. By the time of Stardust Crusaders, Dio's ability in this area has grown to the point that he can even transform others into vampires, doing so to resurrect Vanilla Ice after he decapitated himself for his sake. Regeneration. A vampire can regenerate from lethal wounds, with Dio putting the two halves of his body back together after being cut in half by Jonathan, and Stray Iso, reconnecting the many chunks of his body with tentacles after being blown apart by Joseph's grenades. However, Dio can be killed if his brain is completely destroyed. Space Ripper. Stingy eyes. Dio can fire highly pressurized jets of water from his eyes with enough force to punch through stone. Vaporization. Freezing technique. By cooling down his own body to the point that it drops below zero, Dio can make it so that he can freeze others with a touch, with the process of freezing an entire body taking only 2 seconds. His victims can then be easily shattered by his immense strength, making any physical contact a dangerous proposition. He can even use this to cool. Okay, that's enough talking, let's get ready for the fight. This place will take on Earth and there is no prep time. Let the battle begin. And our winner is Flandre Scarlet. I'm sure Dio can stop time, but Flandre can harm phantoms with her regular attacks and she can destroy virtually anything by crushing its side duplication. However, in attack potency Flandre clearly wins, and if Dio could go on Heaven Ascended Dio, maybe he would have his chance to win, but I'm not sure about Shadow Dio because she can harm phantoms with her regular attacks. Dio had speed definitely, but Flandre outclassed him in pretty much everything else. Our winner is Flandre Scarlet. On the next episode of Universal Battles.
I'ma always win, throw me in and I'm going in. I ain't running, I'ma come and tell you anyone can get to talk about it cause I really live it. All the nights on the mission, no fear, no hope in my vision. Don't need no intervention, you ain't on the ride, there ain't even no ones to come out, putting them out and they all gonna be missing. Wonder why I'm still here, cause I'm doing on the daily. Act a fool if you met me, you try to be brave and step up but your crew is too scary. Plus I'm too legendary, it's what we go hard for. I'm rocking your block, you want time, you get knocked off. I'm taking your place, yeah, I'm making my property. Maybe a game that you probably did over your life for me. So it's only right for me. Annihilate them if they get my way of sight. Keep them up off of me. A weakness in you only